So what are the major crops that are grown in India? So there are crops such as food grains, and there is one more variety called non-food grains that you will learn about it in some other class. But for now, you know that food grains, under food grains you have cereals, you have coarse cereals, and you have pulses. Okay, cereals means rice and wheat, such as these commodities actually are grown on grass. They look like tall grass. Some of you might have seen the rice fields, isn't it, in villages. They look like tall grass, and so is the wheat. So the grains will be there in the tip of the grass. You look at the picture in the next slide. And this is on cereal. Example is rice and wheat. And next is coarse cereals. They are also called millets. Like for example, you have jowar, sorghum, or bhajra. So these are all, in Karnataka it's called joda, ragi, navane, sajje. So these are all actually called millets, pearl millet, So these all are example for millets or coarse cereals. So, and also there is maize. Maize is another major crop which is grown in India and US and many other countries. So these are all called coarse because they were used mainly for animal feeds. Coarse means rough. Do you understand? So they somewhat look like a rough seeds. So they are used to feed animals. And nowadays actually a lot of diet conscious people, somebody who has got even diabetes for example, they're all consuming these millets. Millets are also called magical food nowadays. So they are rich in nutrition, at the same time less in carbohydrates. So this is another second kind is coarse cereal. Third is pulses. What are the different examples for pulses? Lentils, or in Hindi it is called dal, isn't it? Moong dal, tur dal, or urad dal. They are also given based on colors: green, yellow, brown lentils. And beans also is another example. You all eat rajma curry. So rajma is an example for red bean. So it is actually classified under pulses. So these are some of the food grains which are grown in India. Next you have cash crops. See, food grains and non-food grains, which is something which is not consumed by humans, as their nutrition. For example, rubber, cotton, jute. These are all example for non-food grains. At the same time, they are also cash crops. They are very rich in revenues. So another example for cash crop is some of the food crops such as sugarcane, coffee, tea. These are all food crops, but they are also called cash crops. Do you understand? There is food crops and non-food crops. There is cash crops or commercial crops, and subsistence crops. Subsistence means subsistence, growing for one's own self. Don't worry about it for now. So these are broadly categories that you will observe in agriculture. And for now you need to know only this much. So example for cereals, they are cultivated on grass, and there is a grain on the tip of this grass. Say for example like this. You have the tip of the grass, which is actually where the grain contains, and there is rice and wheat. So these both somewhat look like this only. So rice fields look like a large grass. If anybody has seen rice fields, you will notice. So therefore, these grains are edible components, means something which you can eat. So cereals are example for rice and wheat, and also next you have coarse cereals. So these are some of the cereals such as you have pearl millet, You have ragi. So the ragi powder ragi is converted into ragi powder and consumed as ragi balls, or the ragi malt, or you have various items which are made of ragi. And there is maize also, which is one of the major crops. These are example for coarse cereal or nutri cereals. Why is it called nutri cereal? Because they contain very rich in nutrition, fiber and proteins. So they say ragi is so healthy, consume ragi. Even doctors suggest it. Especially for diabetes patients, it is a very good food. So these items are grown in warm winter crops. They are called warm weather, and especially the kharif season, especially during June to November, and these are all examples for some coarse cereals. So we look at coarse cereal production in India. Total production all over India's production, if you take, it has increased over the period of time from 1950s to 60s and 70s and 80s. You see that it is only growing till nearly 30 metric tons and above 30 metric tons. So this is in the year 2019 or so, probably 16 or 17. So you have seen that there is an increase in cereal production. What about the 2012 data? It indicates 259 metric tons of cereals. Cereals means combining rice, wheat and everything. Okay. Next example you see on your screen is some of the items which you have, commodities which you have seen in your kitchen. You can go into today only, you can go and see various kinds of dal. They are called lentils. Mother uses for cooking. There is kabuli chana and beans and moong dal. All these varieties are called pulses. They are edible seeds. Edible means something which you can eat. Actually, they are seed form, and they belong to legume family. So this is different example for pulses. What about cash crops? See, cash commercial crops, I told you, the farmers grow this only to sell it to industries, not for consumption for their own self. Groundnut in India is consumed, but usually world over they extract groundnut oil out of groundnuts. So this is an oil seed. You have sunflower here, you have groundnut here, and there is cotton and sugarcane. So they are all actually called cash crops. Okay, they are grown to make huge profits. So oil seed, sugarcane, cotton, etc. Okay. So this is not part of your syllabus, this slide, but I am just showing it to you to say that you can see that there is different distribution of land of India's geographical land for various agriculture purpose. Maximum land is utilized to grow rice, and second highest is wheat. It makes sense, isn't it? Most of the people eat rice and wheat. Then there is pulses like dal and beans and etc. And then you have cotton. There's a commercial crop, and there are many other commercial crops. You have oil seeds. Take a look at this. You'll have rough idea about what majority of the farmers grow in India. So this is just a brief overview that you are having in this class. So what is the importance of agriculture? We all know that it is source of nutrition, food supply, and not only to human beings but also to your livestock such as animals, such as cows, buffaloes and goats, hen, etc. Isn't it? And food production has increased from just 55 million tons to 259 million tons in the year 2012 and 13. And now it is even further, it is nearly 290 million tons. And India's dependence therefore on other countries for food grains has actually declined. Can you believe it? When we got independence, we used to import food grains from USA. We used to import wheat. We didn't have enough wheat to feed our population. So the import of food grain has reduced, which is a good thing. And then you have dependence on food grains, especially cereals and cash crops has been reduced. But the downside is pulses production has been very slow. See, cereal production, you can see here that it has been very fast. But what about pulses production? It is very, very slow. See, just pulses actually is indicated in green, in blue line. See the pulse production here. That is the lowest among all other food crops. It has grown very, very, very slowly. But look at cereal production. See, total cereal is indicated in yellow. Look at cereal production. Okay. So total food grains, combining cereal and pulses. This green is a total food grain. But look at yellow curve, which has actually increased so high, so fast. But pulses, which was very near probably to cereals, has not grown that much. So government of India has actually been giving lot of encouragement for growth of pulses. They want to increase this growth of pulses also. Do you understand? So this is trends. Trend means last 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. Okay, look at the data of last 50 years, like how it has done. That is called trend. So this is some of the graphs that you have got to look at so that you understand better, how Indian agriculture has performed. So basically what we have grown in cereal productions and pulses has not grown that much. Because we have grown in cereal production, India is also exporting to other countries. Exporting means what? Selling the goods to foreign countries. A simple meaning. And for what? So they earn in return foreign exchange. Say India sells some bananas or mangoes to US. They in turn pay us in dollars. And India gains dollars. And what does India do with those dollars? Okay, Indian government might either convert it to gold or some other currency, or give it to importers in India. We also import mobile phones from foreign countries. We need dollars, isn't it? When we are importing mobile phones, we need to pay the dollars. So therefore, government actually provides these foreign exchange services, etc. So don't worry about it. We'll study later. But right now you should know that foreign exchange earnings, which means dollars, pounds, different foreign currencies, or money's value, which are convertible into various monetary value currencies. So India earns these foreign exchange currencies because of agriculture. And India's share of agriculture in its GDP is 12.3%. Total export, out of total exports, 12.3% of the exports is agricultural exports. And what do we export? Basmati rice, very famous. We have earned $4 billion just in the year 2019. Can you believe? $4 billion by exporting basmati rice. And other seed varieties. There are Sona Masuri and other varieties. And there is oil seeds, sugar, cotton. We export all these items. Therefore, India is a leading exporter of agricultural commodities. One of the top exporter in the world. 2.7 lakh crores India has earned because of agricultural products, exporting them to foreign countries. You understand? So it is a very important sector when it comes to Indian economy. Okay, students, today's class is over, and this is the assignment that I expect you to do. There are 4 questions. Please answer all these 4 questions and submit it by the end of today's classes, probably 4 o'clock. By today, 4 o'clock. So thank you. Sai Ram.